Yes. So, a very good evening, Srijay. Yeah, you look hero.
Good sir.
You
Good
look
evening.
hero. Okay. So, Fire and Ice, which is written by Robert Lee Frost. What do you think that what this poem is all about?
Sir, bit difference between fire and ice.
Difference between fire and ice. Okay. What is the title suggest actually? Think of it. Anything use anything can be answered. Go ahead. Don't worry about the wrong or right. Only thing is called as how much you understand about the topic, title of the topic, or a statement only.
Sir, fire and ice are both destructive also sometimes.
Okay. Destructive.
So I have no idea.
Okay, no issue, no issue. Let me point out. Uh, if you go through the poem, right? So this poem is again as equal as dust of snow, is not it? The length of the
Yes, sir.
poem, the kind of a language is used in the poem, and also you can say that the simplicity or the kind of a terminology or called as the terms of words or the vocabulary that have been used in the poem is very simple, right? But at the same time, if you look into this poem presents a depth meaning, right? Into the that actually presents the depth meaning to the readers, right? If the reader reads this poem in an active manner, will draw nothing but uh, the depth of irony presents into it. Irony, irony. What is that irony? Like the reader understands something, right? Or the poet uh, presents something, but in the deeper level, the poet tries to show something, right? That's what the poet Robert Lee Frost quality of presenting such kind of a poem. Now, the next part is called as if you look into Robert Lee Frost written poems, whether that is The Road Not Taken that you read in the last year, or you read the poem called as Stopping by the Woods on a Snowy Evening, or you read the poem called as a Dust of Snow. The idea that you find out in these are the poems are nothing but what? The poet's true love for the nature. True love for the nature. You can see that how much he give importance to the nature, right? So in each and every poem, the poet's main priority is to eulogize or praise the nature, right? That is the region in most of his poems, right? So what he is trying to do, he uses some of the nature means part of the nature, like you can say, uh, if we talk about um, the trees, like he mentions about oak tree or called as a people tree, or you can talk about banyan tree, right? If you talk about creatures or birds or animals, you can find out he uses birds like nightingale, cuckoo, right? So it means in all age poems, he uses the positivity, right? Positivity, the positivity tone he maintains. He tries to show the images of the uh, positive side of the nature, right? But this poem seems different. How it seems different? Now, here, the characters, or you can say that the parts of the nature can be called as a crow, is not it? Crow, the bird is
Yes, sir.
mentioned. Second is called as the tree called a hemlock tree, right? Now, if you think about
Yes,
this crow and hemlock tree, why does the poet mention them? What the poet tries to define by giving uh, the picture of crow, or called as a means image of hemlock tree. What does the poet try to signify? That is the question. Next is called as a, if you look into the this particular poem, this poem is nothing but a based on two stanzas, is not it?
yes,
The poem is based on the two stanzas, right? Now, if I am saying that this is the first stanza and this is the second stanza, right? So this two stanza consist of nothing but, you can say, 9 lines, right? And the way it is constructed seems like what, presenting with many of the literary devices or figure of speech, right, in which he constructed this particular poem. Again, it is a two stanza poem, right? Very simple, and uh, you know, uh, easy terms are given. Now, the thing is that if we look into this poem, the poet tries to present, right, two things or two elements. One is called as a fire, and the other one is called as a ice, right? So why did he mention fire and ice, right? And how fire and ice is related to the desire, right? And also you can say that hatredness, desire and hatredness, right? Which questions answer we will draw. The poet also uh, gives the knowledge about what? Gives the knowledge about uh, the comparison of fire and ice with the human being, right? Now the question comes out, why means the poet compares fire and ice with the human being, and how fire and ice means is relevant to the human being, right? That's also another question, right? So based on these are the thought, right? So the poet presents a beautiful, uh, well written verse, right? Now let me start reading the poem, or if you want you can please read this. Can you read it?
yes, sir.
Yeah, go for it.
Some say the world will end in fire. Some say in ice. From what I have tasted of desire, I hold with those who favor fire. But if it had to perish twice, I think I know enough of it to say that for destruction ice, I also great and would suffice.
To say that for destruction ice is also great, or I also great?
Said is
Yeah,
also great.
is also great and would suffice. Now, tell me, Srijay, means, can you tell me that what are the words that you find out difficult in this?
So that suffice, but it's in the glossary section be sufficient.
Yeah. So the meaning of suffice is called as a something which is sufficient. Something which is sufficient. Right. Now you also find out the word called as a Paris. The meaning of
Perish
Paris
means
is,
die.
sorry?
So perish means finish, die.
Yeah, so or you can say that something which is destroyed, right? So if I'm talking about suffice, which means be sufficient, right? Sufficient. And if I'm talking about perish, right, I can say that what, based on the term, I can say that it means called as a destruction, right? Or you can say that uh, die, right? Die. This is the idea we can draw. Now, let me take you to the uh, the whole poem's discussion, right? Now, look into the first one. The poet wanted to say that some say the world will end in fire. Now, who are the some? Now, the some refers to the people, right? So, some people say the world will end in fire. So, why the world will end in fire, right? And how fire is means considering as the one of the element that will destroy the world. Now, if you see, the poet wants to convey a message that the fire refers to the greed or greedy, we used to say. Greedy. Do you understand the meaning of greedy?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So, fire is referring to nothing but means greedy. What else? Fire is also referring to the means lost. So, if I say that fire is referring to the greedy, even lust, and also we can say desire, right? Now, these three things are present in fire. But how? Now, if you talk about this particular idea, so he said that the world will end in fire because fire presents with a greedy, lost desire, right? So, and this greedy, lost desire is also present in human being, right? And that is why they have been called as a self-destructive. What do you mean by self-destructive? Now, something which will
Which
destroy, yeah, something which will destroy yourself, destroy oneself, right? If you have the greedy in attitude, if you have a lost in thought, if you have a desire of achieving something, right, then you can say that those of the things are called as a emotion of the human being, emotions, right, of the human being, and those emotions are sufficient to end the world. That is why he pointed, some say the world will end in fire. Now, in that case, if I am talking about the poet's thought of what using the term fire, so it means the poet is stating about means the mind and the power presence in human being is present in fire. So fire is used as a personification, right? So do you understand the meaning of personification?
yes, sir.
What is that?
Sir means it describes as the feelings of some person. Means person means it describes about some person or someone, people, living things.
Yeah, so you can say that the quality of the person, right? The quality of the human being has been compared with whom means the quality of the human being. Sorry, the quality of the human being compared with the what means a quality of fire, or these the qualities which are present in the human being given to the fire, right? So you can find out means greed, lust, and desire. These are the attitude, these are the behaviors that are called as a self-destructive attitude, self-destructive quality that we find out in a fire, right? And that is why the poet states that people who present in this world, their behavior and their attitude is nothing but means greedy in nature. It means they do have, but they want for more, right? So lost in nature, right? So desire to achieve more and more. Now this attitude or emotions, right, can considering as the destruction of the world. That is why he pointed, some say the world will end in fire, right? Some say in ice, right? Some say in ice. So, in that case, fire and ice are taken for the consideration of destruction to the world, right? Now, look into the next one. The poet also stated, from what I have tasted of desire, I hold with those who favor fire, right? So the poet wants to convey a message that yes, he does agree with those of the people who support the fire, means who understand that yes, greedy, lust, and desire are means present in the human being, and those of the qualities uh, will be sufficient for destroying the world. That is why the poet also supports to those of the people who supports fire. Right. Now, here, when I use the term fire all the time, it means it gives us the imagination. It gives us the imagination of the mind and the power of the human being, right? That covers with the attitude called the greedy, lost, and desire, which are self destructive. So I'm just not taking the name of the fire, I'm just taking the name of the attitude or behavior of the human being, which are actually dangerous, which are actually means weapons to destroy the world. Right? That is why the poet here beautifully stated, from what I have tested of desire. Right? So the desire presence in the human being are sufficient to destroy the world. Am I clear till now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now look into the this particular poem, and what do you find out here? You will find out that the poem is written right in a different manner, right? Like you can find out the beginning of the poem called as a some say, right? We can find out the alliteration present in this particular line. S Sarsa, right? Alliteration, right? Alliteration. So is not it alliteration?
Yes, yes, yes. Yes.
Yeah. So, what do you mean by alliteration? Alliteration means called as a repetition of the consonant sound. So, here you will find out some say sa sa and ww. So, this term refer us that what? Now, they are clearly creating the kind of idea of a repetition of sounds, right? That is the reason we consider it as the alliteration. So, one of the means a literary device, right? One of the literary devices. Now, second thing is called as when we look into the other part of it, like you can say, uh, okay, 1 minute, alliteration, and the next one you will find out that's called as uh, what do we say? Some say. Now you can see that how the phrase is repeated twice at the beginning of the line. Now, this suggests the anaphora present in the poem. Anaphora, right? When I say that anaphora, so it means I'm talking about what? Now, repetition of the same phrase, right? Or same line at the beginning of the poem. So, or at the beginning of means in the midst of the poem also, but it begins, right? So that's why we consider it. It is used as an anaphora, right? So another literary devices. The meaning of this part is called as anaphora, and what do you mean by anaphora? That called as a when any of the phrase repeated uh, means twice or more than in the at the beginning of the poem or at the beginning of the line, so then it is called as anaphora, right? The poet also use another that's called as a um, another literary devices that is called as a imagery, image, imagery, imagery or image. So when we talk about imagery, it means the poet tries to convey the message of nature's image. Now look into it. The poet says that some say the world will end in fire. So the poet uses the term fire. Some say ice. The poet uses the term ice. So fire and ice have been considered that what? Now they are the elements of the destruction. So that is why we can carry the kind of a thought in our mind that they are the means image, they are the symbol that make us realize that they are enough means ability to destroy the world. So that is why it is also called as a imagery, right? Another literary devices. Now, if I'm looking for more from what I have tested of desire, I hold with those who favor fire, right? So, in that case, the poet wants to convey that fire carries the desire, fire carries the quality that the human being carries. So, in that case, the poet gives a kind of a means human being's quality to the quality towards fire, right? It means the human being's quality you will find out in the element called as a fire. So that is the reason we can consider it as a personification, right? Personification, right? Personification. Now, the next is called as if I look for the what? If I look for the means a rhyming scheme, what do we find out here? We can find out the rhyming scheme of this poem is called as a, then we can say B, right? Then after we can also say that A because fire, ice, right? Desire, fire. So fire, ice, and desire, fire. So it means the rhyming scheme of the poem is called as a means of A,
A,
A, right? A, B, A. So that's what we can draw here. Fire, ice, desire, fire. So that is what the rhyming scheme of the poem. Now, moving to the, am I clear with all this? Understood?
yes, sir.
Okay. Now, if I look for the
Yes, sir.
anything else in this poem that also presents some kind of means another literary devices, yes, we can find out the another literary devices that is called as a enjambment. So what is that enjambment? Now enjambment is called as a when means the line that does not end with a full stop and comma and that continues in the second part. Like you can say some say the world will end in fire, some say in ice. It means it is the continuation of the first one. From what I have tested of desire, I hold with those who favor fire. So this is also continuation of the first. So in that case, we can consider that they are the example of enjambment. So the meaning of
Enjoyment.
enjambment.
Yes,
So the meaning of enjambment is called as a when we find out when we find out that the line doesn't end with a full stop or comma or any kind of a punctuation mark and it continues in the second line, then it is called as a example of enjambment. Am I clear? Understood?
yes, sir.
Okay, so I hope you
Yes,
won't find out any kind of a problem. Right now, moving to the next one, next stanza. So till now we understood that the idea called as a means the poet uses the fire and ice and tells that what how people right who believe that fire is sufficient to destroy the world because fire carries with the quality called as a desire, dust, and greedy. Sorry, desire, lust, and greedy. Right, so, and those desire, lust, and greedy attitude or behavior present in the human being who have self-destructive attitude and they are sufficient to destroy the world. But at the same time, and whose name is given as a fire. Now, the second stanza says what? Now, coming with the contrast, the first word which is indicating as a contrast, but right, the poet stated, but if it had to perish twice, if it had to perish twice means it refers to whom? It refers to the world, right? It refers to whom? The world. So if the world had to perish means we know that called as a destruction or die. If the world had to destroy twice, right? I think I know enough of a hate. Enough of hate means what? Now he said that the means hatredness. Hatredness. Hello, are you there? So, so in that case, so if you look into it, the poet stated that, uh, but if it had to uh, perish twice, or it's called as the world had to destroy two times, or twice means referring to two times. I think I know enough of it. I think I know enough of it means what? Now, hatredness that present means in the world, right? That hatredness, or you can talk about insensibility, right? Or you can say that to say that for destruction eyes, right? So hatredness towards others, cruelty attitude towards others, or you can say insensibility, you do not understand the emotion of others, right? So those of the things are called as a means sufficient to destroy the world also, right? So if it is not destroyed by the fire, then it can destroy because of the emotion present called as hatredness, cruelty, and you can talk about means insensibility. To say that for destruction eyes, right? So here the poet is stated that what eyes carries that quality, right? So it means there are and women, so some people who have the attitude of what? Now carrying hatredness towards others, right? Who have carried the quality of what? Insensibility, right? Or cruelty nature towards others. So those of the thing is also great and would suffice and sufficient for destroying the world. That's what the poet stated, right? So, in that case, the poet does agree with the two of the things, that fire and ice, which have carried the quality of means a mind and power of the human being, right? So, they both carry the kind of a qualities of human being called as a desire, lust, and greediness that consist with fire, right? Or that means that is that are given to the fire, right? At the same time ice that contains with the quality called as hatred, insensibility, and also dislikeness to the emotions present in the human being. So those of the things can sufficient can sufficiently destroy the world two times, right? By saying this, the means the poet ends the poem. Even in this particular stanza also the poet uses some of the means what do we say that, some of the literary devices, like you can say that enjambment is covered here, right? Look into it. From I think to would suffice, till this you would find out it is an enjambment example, right? So even the poet also carries means the quality of human being with the quality of ice, right? So hatredness, so which is also called as a personification. So can now as you have already understood all these things, right? uh, can you tell me how many figure of speech we have discussed so far?
The parts of speech.
Figure of speech or literary devices, how many literary devices we have used so
So,
far?
so first is enjambment, personification, anaphora, and what enjambment, anaphora, personification,
Then alliteration
alliteration also.
and imagery. Is not it? Hello? Enjambment, personification, anaphora, alliteration, imagery. What else? The rhyming
This much
scheme. Rhyming scheme. What is
uh,
that? Rhyming
timing.
scheme. What is that rhyming scheme? That is called as A B A A. Then after comma
Yes, sir,
A B
ABA.
A B A again A B A B A here. Now look into it. Twice head, eyes, grade, suffice. So A B A B A. So in that case, you can find out there are means different rhyming scheme A B A A A B A B A. Right. That's what is the rhyming scheme we find out here. Right. Now, beside enjambment, personification, anaphora, alliteration, imagery, anything else that you are missing?
No, sir.
Sure?
Yes.
I think we are missing something.
No, sir.
Some say, anaphora, is not it?
Yes, sir. Alliteration is repetition of consonant soundness.
Okay. Yeah, we are actually missing with another one that's called as a uh, assonance, right? Now, what is that assonance actually? The assonance is called as a long sound of the vowel, right? Now, here you can see long sound of the vowel. Like here, you will find out that the long O sound present in the first stanza last line, where it is clearly stated the assonance, right? So, what do you mean by assonance? Now, assonance is called as a long O sound present here. I hold with those who favor fire, right? O sound. So, that's why we can say it is assonance. Please note down them. Assonance, right? This is what another thing was. Another means poetic device, figure of speech, or literary devices, we can say. Am I clear with this?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So I hope you understood the whole means poem, right? So that's what actually this poem tries to tell us. Okay.
Yes.